This short video is just going to cover the assessment for practitioner skill development. Probably remember from the lectures that you have two components, and what I'm concentrating on this one is the personal development action plan. That's 70% of your final grade. Okay, let me outline the areas that I wanted to cover as part of this assessment. Okay, so it's always a good idea to put a title page on, university logo, put your student number, name on there. Next page I'm expecting maybe a contents page, so anything that you've listed in your assignment, it's good to put a table of contents in so it's easy for the reader. Okay, what comes next then is the introduction. I'm going to go through these in a little bit more depth in a minute, but just to show you the structure of the assignment. After that, I'd expect to see a personal profile from all the different tests I've been doing in the lectures. A little bit of notes there on the areas that I'd like you to do to make sure you get the full marks. After that, you've got your personal profile, what you to compare yourself against a particular role. Using that then, so your profile against a role, you're looking for your strengths and weaknesses, and that will help you create your personal development plan. After that, right at the end, I'll want some references. These are the references I'll expect you to put into your piece of work. And at the very back of your piece of work in your appendix, I'd like to see a copy of your CV. So when you've got a little bit more time, perhaps go through these notes here. Now I'm just going to look in a little bit more depth at each area. So we'll start with the presentation. It's only 1500 words. Try and create a contents page and put things at the appendix. You know, if you're a little bit worried about word count, that's fine. I don't include any words that's in tables, which may help. And you can of course contact me via email or phone if you've got any problems. Okay, so just go back. So the first thing we're going to look at is the introduction. So what am I looking for in the introduction? Well, here's a good example of what you might write for your introduction. Okay, a little bit lengthy, and this shortened version is just as good. Okay, so don't think that you have to put so many words into something. If you're quite succinct, that's just as good. Okay, just a short introduction so that if you gave it to somebody who you live with, they'd know what you were doing. That's all I'm looking for. So what's next? Okay, you've done your introduction. I'd like to see your personal profile now. And this is a big component of the piece of work. I want you to use the test that we've used during the lectures. Now I'll show you where you find those on Blackboard in a minute. I just want to know what you are, whether you're a pragmatic learner or whether or not you're a particular type of leader, learning styles. I don't want to see all the values, I just want to see your actual result. Try and link them if you want more marks, and try and link them to the role, which is important. So think about the role that you're hoping to do. Now how you present those is going to be changed. This is where you'll find the different tests on Blackboard. Now these are the areas that I'm expecting you to analyse, and these are perhaps, you know, I'm just giving an example here where this person is a theorist, they're a little bit extrovert but they're stable, they're a participative leader and a shaper in a group situation. They're quite strong on spoken communication, linguistic skills, and they're very high in emotional intelligence. So that would be a good example of somebody who, I don't know, may be suited to possibly PE teaching. Now how are you going to present that? Well, you could do it in a diagram form, or you could show me in a table, which is quite common, or you could write a paragraph. Now all of these are acceptable. Okay, it's just your own preference as to how you'd like to present that. So this is your profile of yourself. So what's next after you've created your profile? I'd like to see you compare yourself to a particular role. So I'd like to see a job description ideally, so you can pick up particular areas that you think are important. Now here's one example of a job role that you might want to use, and ideally in these type of things we have these, so experience and skills that you can map yourself against to say, well, I've got that or I've not got that, and these are the areas that we'll be using in your development plan. Here's another example. These are good job descriptions that you could use. Now I've created this already for you so that it's easy for you to profile. This is 3 different roles that you've seen during the weeks on the program, and this would be an example of your own analysis. And this here details how you differ. This person's compared themselves to Eddie, who's cardiac rehabilitation member. These are the areas that some are similar and then some are different. So what do you do with that then? Well, you need to have a look at the areas that perhaps you need to develop, and a good way of doing that is to look at your CV and personal profile against the particular role that you're looking at. What do you do then? Well, this is probably the most important part, is you design some kind of action plan. And I'd like to see some strengths. I'm sure you got some strengths from your test results, and obviously areas for development, and I'd like to set them out a little bit like this. So here's an example of, it's okay, but it's a little bit poor in terms of detail. This one's got much more detail. This is the type of area I'd like you to present. So it's very detailed. It's got names, it's got actual values, and it's got particular start dates and end dates. And this is only one area for development. You might have up to 10 really, perhaps 5 minimum areas that you might want to present in your development plan that you're going to focus on over the next few years. Okay, so what's next? Well, I'd like the assignment referencing. So here's how you reference. Been through that in the lectures. This would be how you might put it in the text, and this is how you'd put it at the back of your piece of work. So this would be in the reference list. If you go back to the first slide, I did write down all the references you'll need so that you can easily pick those up. And last bit really is just the appendix. So what we're looking for in the appendix is a CV, and I've given you some guidelines before. I don't want it over 2 pages. Don't underline, keep it business-like. This is the format I'd like you to follow. I have given you an example which is on Blackboard, and this one's for an example of Phillips stretch. So here's the structure I'd like you to present by. But the most important part by which you get all your marks is how you look at yourself in terms of your roles. So instead of just putting, I worked on the till and I handled money, I want you to use much more better descriptors, and these are the descriptors that I'd like to use here. So maybe committed to providing efficient customer service, or succeeded in dealing with a range of customers in a difficult environment. But you use these descriptors rather than just a paragraph. So that's an important component of your CV. Okay, that's the piece of work finished. Obviously, if you have any questions, contact me, and I'll be doing another video on an example assignment and the presentation next. Thanks very much.